So I'm going to shuffle these cards up. I'm going to come back, have them all laid out for you, and we're going to read through this. God. Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome to my channel. Today is episode 5 in the 365 Tarot Spread series. If you happen to be new, this is where I'm going through this book once a month and picking out a spread to do and work through it here on camera. I actually had a tough time deciding what spreads I was going to do for today's episode because there's some really good spreads in here for the month of May. So I decided on 2 because usually these videos are really short anyway. So I thought I could squeeze 2 of these readings in. And the first one I think I'm going to do, well, I know I'm going to do because I've already picked it, is the anger management spread. And the thing that cracks me up about this book is I love to read the little write-ups of on this day of what sparked the idea for this spread. And this is all sparked by the Incredible Hulk because Dr. David, is that his name? Dr. Bruce Banner had to maintain control of his anger, or of course he would turn into the Incredible Hulk. So that's what this spread is about, why you're so angry. So we're going to go ahead and work through this one first, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about spread number 2. So I decided to use the This Might Hurt. This is the indie version of this deck by Isabella Rotman. It sits in my cupboard. It never gets any use for me, and I thought this was the perfect time to pull it out and give it some love, basically. So that's what we're using. So I'm going to shuffle these up, come back, lay them out, and we're going to go ahead and read through the spread. I forgot to leave this open in case you wanted to screenshot this spread, or at least look down here what the prompts are if you wanted to play along with me. So you can go ahead and do that now, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with the reading. So I was able to actually lay out the cards just like the position in the book, which doesn't happen that often because of space. So we're going to start right here in the middle. And I know I have part of the card covered up, but that's for YouTube reasons. So first card right here in the center is Why Am I So Angry? And it's the Moon card. And what I find interesting, that the Moon is the middle card for your anger. Why are you so angry? And I get that hidden factor, those secrets, the illusion that's going on. So maybe you've been deceived, especially since this Moon card shows 2 people with these masks on to represent that like internal animal instinct sort of. But what if those masks are actually the masks that people are putting on, not portraying themselves for who they really are? So maybe that's where your anger is stemming from with this Moon. Maybe you trusted somebody and revealed secrets to them and they've deceived you in some way. Maybe you couldn't really see, the light wasn't completely shining on them yet where you could see the full truth of what these people are or who they are, and you know what their actual motive was. And the reason I say that is because our very next card here is the 9 of Swords, and it's what led to this situation. And with the 9 of Swords and you're having this worry and anxiety now, maybe you are concerned about things that were said, things that were done, things that you divulged, secrets that you divulged to these people, thinking that you can trust them. And now perhaps you're worried that they are going to deceive you, or that they've already deceived you and spilled your secrets in some way. And so this is causing a lot of turmoil or anxiety within you. So over here for card 3, what will happen if I express my anger? And with the Ace of Wands being in card 3, I see this as the match. You're holding the match. What do I do with it now? If I express my anger and look how much fiery energy is in this spread. And on top of that, there are no cups here to temper, to balance this fire in any way. There's no pentacles here to ground this energy down and to slow its process in some way. It is pure fire that is the majority of this spread. And that's why I see this as the unlit match. So what happens if I express my anger? If you light this up, are you prepared to burn the bridges between these people? Are you prepared for that fire to like get out of control? Something that maybe once the momentum starts because of all the fire energy here, are you going to be able to stop it? Are you going to be able to put some sort of halt on this fire? And is it going to just cause more worry and anxiety for you, especially since these are like so close together? So that's exactly how I would see this Ace of Wands, is that unlit match that it's going to be up to you whether you strike it or not. Then question 4, what will happen if I suppress my anger? And we have the 5 of Wands. And this is usually that conflict on the outside. But I actually see this, since it's suppressing your anger. What happens if you suppress it is that angel devil moment that we have within us. Well, look, I really want to do this. And then you have that other voice in your head saying, okay, well, wait a minute. Let's think about this for a moment. Maybe you don't need to rush forward and strike that match. Maybe there's a different solution that can be found here. That's how I see this 5 of Wands. It is that more of that internal struggle instead of that outward struggle with others. Because if you suppress your anger, that's exactly what's going to be happening. You're going to be tearing yourself up inside of, well, maybe I shouldn't let them get away with this, etc. And the fact that the Hangman, because I have the Hangman right down here, the Hangman came out with this card. It was like stuck to the back of it. And I find it interesting that if you suppress your anger, and the Hangman is letting you know that you are going to have a chance to view this entire situation in a different way. You're going to learn a lesson from it, number one, for trusting people that maybe you barely knew or got to know. And it's going to give you a different perspective on maybe why you divulged your secrets to them to begin with. What were you wanting to gain from this? What was the outcome that you were hoping for by telling people you barely knew or that you didn't know well enough how you were feeling about something? And this is going to give you that other perspective on it to help slow down some of this fiery energy, because the Hangman is at a standstill. So if it's going to give you a chance to slow down and not maybe do something that you'll regret later by lighting that match. And then over here is card number 5. What will happen if I calm my feelings? And we have the 10 of Wands. So even if you calm your feelings, it is going to feel like a burden. It is going to feel like you possibly let somebody get away with something. It is going to weigh heavy on you, everything that transpired to this point. But the thing about this, if you look at this, he has all of his wood strapped together and on his back. He is prepared to carry it. And remember I said back here this would be burning the bridges? Well, I see this as he is carrying new logs to build different bridges with people that is worthy to have that bridge built with them. I hope that makes sense. That's the first thing that came to me when I looked at this reading and saw this card, is if someone really did hurt you and divulged things that you confided in them about, and you're ready to, light that up, this is a chance for you to maybe walk away from it and build bridges with people that will support you instead, and not use what you've told them as a way to get ahead or as a way to tear you down, or whatever the scenario may be here. So if you calm your feelings, it's going to be heavy and difficult to carry at first, but as you go on, this burden will lessen. So over here is card number 6. What action should I take? I find it so interesting that the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands are exactly opposite of one another. So if you express your anger and you like that match, or do you take this action, the swords, and you choose to say what you need to say in a more logical and rational manner? And it's not about burning the bridge. It's maybe about just expressing your disappointment in this whole situation. And maybe it's about thinking about who you communicate with and what you communicate with them. And the sword can cut both ways. And maybe you can get your point across with this Ace of Swords with that slight little edge, that slight little cut to it. So they understand that you're not going to tolerate this from them any longer. But at the same time, you're choosing to rise above. And that's where the Six of Wands comes in. Because what is my outcome? So if you choose to go in a more rational, logical manner to address the problem, to even confront them if that's what you decide to do, you are going to be the one that rises above. You are the one on the higher road. There is no reason to sink to their level. There is no reason to, like I said, strike that match and sink to their level and burn it all down to begin with. You can rise above this. And if you do that way, if you choose to be rational, to pause, to think about what your motive was behind this in the first place, you can come out on top of all of this. And what was a burden or was a strife at the get-go won't be like that anymore, because people will be able to see your side. They'll be able to stand and support you because these people don't matter. And that is exactly how I would read this spread if I was reading it for a client or a friend or somebody. Is I would see this as secrets being told, divulged in some way that was used as maybe as a weapon against you. And like I said earlier, I just find it interesting. There's no water, there's no emotion to put any of this out. So let me know what you thought of this spread. Did you see the cards in a different way? Would you have read it completely different than I read it? I would love to hear in the comments below. So let's go ahead and get our second spread ready. So the next spread I decided to do for today is the Slow It Down spread. And this is so funny because it is based on the first speeding ticket that was ever issued in 1899 for a horseless carriage that was going 12 miles an hour on Lexington Avenue in New York City. So this spread is about looking at why you're rushing ahead, why you are feeling out of control, or things are moving too fast in your life, and why you're refusing to slow down is the basis of this spread. So I'm going to leave this here for a second. Go ahead and pause, screenshot so you can play along with me. Okay, we're going to start over here. Now, I wasn't able to lay these cards out as it showed in the book. I can't lay things at a diagonal. You'll never see all the cards. So I just went ahead and laid them out this way. Over here we have card 1. What do I need to slow down and pay attention to? So if things are spinning out of control and you're not really paying attention to what's happening in your life, or maybe you're filling your life with so many to-do things because you don't want to slow down and face what's bothering you, face what you lost, face some sort of regret that you have. And by keeping yourself busy and keeping yourself active and not even taking a moment to breathe, you don't have to look at the hurt and the pain that is still sitting and residing underneath all the layers that is causing you to step into that energy of avoidance. And card number 2 is, what am I trying to avoid? And with the Ace of Swords, which has come out again, being reversed, the very first thing I feel with this is an avoidance of a deep conversation, an avoidance of the truth. That's another aspect that I get with this Ace of Swords is, so whatever hurt you, whatever it is that you don't want to look at and deal with, you're avoiding the conversation that has to come along with that. You're avoiding the truth of maybe why this happened or the role that maybe you played in it. You're avoiding what's still available to you, and and you don't want to focus on what you've lost, so you're filling your life with other things. But there's a deeper conversation, there's a facing of the truth that has to happen here in order for you to be able to look at the things that are bothering you the most. So card number 3 is, how can I enjoy my ride more? Or how can I enjoy life more? So if you're in this avoidance stage and in this I don't want to face the truth stage, maybe you're on the defensive all the time with the 7 of Wands. Maybe you don't want to take your walls down because you were hurt. If this could be about a relationship, especially with this being with the amount of cups that I have here. So maybe there's a relationship that is ended and you don't want to really face that. So you're keeping your walls up, keeping people at a distance, keeping everybody on the outskirts of even getting close to you because you don't want to go through this again. So the more busy you are, the more active and overfilled your plate is, the less you have to deal with others. How can you enjoy the ride a little bit more is take the walls down. Stop feeling like everybody is out to get you because of what happened to you in your past. So card number 4 is, what is my reward for stopping to smell the roses? With the Wheel of Fortune there, I see this, of course it's the wheel of change, but I see this as, if you take a moment to breathe and you take a moment to look at basically these 2 cups that are behind you, you will see the good that is still available in your life. You'll be able to notice those couple blessings. You'll be able to notice the good people that are still there and not the ones that you feel you have to be defensive against all the time. You'll be able to see the maybe the happiness or joy that's available to you, and that things aren't as bad as you think that they look. That's what I feel with that Wheel of Fortune card. So down here, what will happen if I don't slow down? And isn't it interesting? These cards, I feel, are like mirrors to each other. They almost have identical coloring to them. And it's interesting that here's 5 cups and now this person has to walk away from 8 cups. So if you don't slow down, this is just going to continue to grow. Your emotional tie, your emotional turmoil, those feelings that you are trying to swallow and bury and not face here are just going to continue to multiply. And now instead of dealing with 3 little cups, 3 little problems, or 1 little problem that is just a conversation that needs to be had, now there's something deeper. Now there's something else that has layered onto this with this 8 of Cups. Instead of just dealing with maybe one person or a small group of people, now you're dealing with walking away from a larger group of people and dealing with a lot more of that emotional drama in this card than in this one. And that's exactly how I would see this, because they're so similar. And this whole thing about being defensive up here, I think really plays into this like kind of triangle that we've got going on right here. So then the next card, the Ace of Cups, what toll does this take on my physical body? First of all, being the Ace of Cups, I would say maybe it takes an emotional toll on you. It takes an emotional toll on your heart, because burying, not dealing with the pain, and having to keep that suppressed all the time, maybe that's what's keeping you in this fight or flight state, which is releasing extra cortisol, which is keeping your body in a stress state on a regular basis, which is not healthy. But then we can look at this another way, as far as what toll does this take on the body? And with this, I would say it would be more in a reversed angle that you would look at this Ace of Cups, because it's a toll, not like a gift or a blessing. So you're depleted. You're emotionally depleted. You have nothing left to give anybody else here. You have nothing left to even really fight for anything. You are depleted in more ways than one. And that's the toll that it's taking on you because you're not wanting to face what's going on right here. So if you are running on an empty cup, what do you have left to not only give yourself, but how can you give to anybody else? Because you are just trying to make it basically from day to day. So that's how I would see the Ace of Cups. And then our final card is, what small adjustment shall I calculate on my internal GPS? So what internally do you need to do to shift all of this? And it's interesting that this is the Six of Pentacles with this Ace of Cups right here. So I already said that you're depleted. You have nothing left to give anybody. And look how interesting it is that this Six of Pentacles is actually facing this Ace of Cups. So what you need to recalculate within yourself is you need to start giving back to yourself. You need to start loving yourself, especially since this six is facing the ace. That's self-love, that's self-care, that's self-tenderness. You need to nurture within yourself so you have something to give back to others. But you have to take care of yourself first, which means dealing with the loss that you don't want to face, the conversation that you don't want to have, the truth that you don't want to see up here with these two cards. So you can heal from it, especially with that Ace of Cups right here. So you can heal from this and then move on. And then once you heal from it, you will be able to give generously of yourself to others. And you won't be in this defensive mode all the time. You won't be looking at people as attackers, but you will be looking more on the positive side or the upswing of the wheel instead. I really like this spread. I think this would be a fantastic spread to do with clients, especially if they're feeling like their life is out of control some way. And laying it out like this, from me personally, I get more out of it this way than in a diagonal spread. I like to read cards so they play off of one another. And yeah, I could do that jumping back and forth in a diagonal, but by looking at things this way, I see the cards affecting other cards more. So I prefer to like lay out in lines or in grid form, or however you want to say it, because I think I get more from the reading that way, and I can see more avenues that you can be going down than just what the spread positions are. And you can weave that story of how all these connect with one another and what other underlying things you may see here. So let me know in the comments below, how would you have read this spread? Is there something different that you would have seen with that Five of Cups and that Ace of Swords? I'd love to know. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe or share the video so others can find me and they can subscribe as well. So until I see you next time, bye.